Now, All Things Real Estate continues on Full Service Radio, 830 WCRN. Once again, here's your hosts, Gary Kelley and Brad Avergon.
Good morning and welcome to WCRN. This is All Things Real Estate. It's 8:30 on 8:30 in the morning on Sunday. I'm Gary Kelley. I'm with Remax Real Estate, Remax Executive Real Estate. I'm joined by Brad Avergon.
Hey, Gary.
So, Brad, what do you do besides sit there and look great?
If only that were the case. I'm a senior loan officer with Envision Bank and Mortgage right here in Westboro, Mass.
So we had talked as we do show prep every month. We had talked about let's not do kind of the traditional show. Let's do something that's a little bit different. And different means there's still very low inventory in the marketplace. What does that mean? It's a feeding frenzy out there for people. Brad, how about in the mortgage world?
Yeah, we're seeing it as well. I spoke with two buyers this weekend, and both were bidding on condominiums. And it's tough out there. They were outbid, and they were just beginning their search, and it's disheartening. They think they come in with a full price offer, and that's going to do the trick. And so I think they were a little frustrated. And so we talked about a little bit about strategies and stuff. But inventory is clearly an issue right now. Probably the biggest issue. It certainly isn't interest rates, that's for sure.
So interest rates are down at the lowest perhaps we've seen in our lifetime. And do you see that staying that way for at least a bit?
I do. I don't anticipate anything, going up drastically as far as interest rates go. I think the economy can use a little bit of a boost, given what we've gone through. And I think holding interest rates where they are is probably a good thing.
From our perspective, no inventory, I shouldn't say no, low inventory in the marketplace, low interest rates, kind of a feeding frenzy. That's been our message for a bit now. Let's talk about something else.
Okay.
What are you doing for Thanksgiving, Brad?
Thanksgiving. So that's funny you should ask, Gary. So for Thanksgiving, it's going to be a little different this year. We're a little bit downsized. So starting the 2 weeks prior to Thanksgiving, so the day after tomorrow, as we date this, I am quarantining for 2 weeks, as well as the rest of my family, and because we're all in different locations. Or you have what's behind curtain number 2, you can go get tested prior to our Thanksgiving dinner. So we're having a smaller Thanksgiving dinner. It'll be my immediate family, so just my son, one of my sons and his wife. The other son, his wife is going to see her parents in Florida. So, and then my daughter, and then my stepmother, and that's it. Usually we have my brother-in-law and his family, and a much bigger crowd. We're doing it a little bit differently this year.
I'm from Cleveland, and for years we would saddle up and drive home for the Thanksgiving holiday weekend, and I would climb in the back of the car and go to sleep, and my wife would take a good dose of coffee, and she would drive the whole way. It was actually not a bad deal for me, to be honest. You're only getting out for potty breaks and walk the dog, that kind of thing. But it was always a special time of year because I like Thanksgiving because you're with people that you want to be with, generally speaking.
Right.
And, you get to watch a parade on TV, which is always kind of fun. And for years, we used to go to the football game in Westboro, or sometimes over in Southboro, Northboro, the Algonquin deal for the football game, go back and forth. It was either beautiful or freezing your butts off, but you'd come home and the turkey was done and everything else. That was nice. But when I was in Ohio, we would go over to friends of the family house and have their Thanksgiving, their dinner. And what was always nice about that is, as it turned out, they were Hungarian and they prepared their stuffing differently than what I was accustomed to. It was ground beef It was sausage. It was rice. There was no bread in it. Maybe a little breadcrumbs, some egg, and that's what went into the bird. And so it's a completely different flavor than you get with a traditional stuffed bird. And I don't know, that was our Thanksgiving. We did it year after year after year.
That's great. It sounds like it brings a lot of fond memories back for you.
Well, it does. My parents, because they didn't do Thanksgiving, they didn't have to my mom always kept the house spotless anyway, but they didn't need to make sure that everything was pristine. So they had this gigantic, I'm going to say 4 foot, it was probably 3 foot in diameter turkey that they would put in the front window. And the turkey, the turkey would go up shortly after Thanksgiving, and shortly after Halloween, and then it would stay there until Thanksgiving, at which point it would come down. You might have a bit of a break, and then we'd go cut down a tree and drag it into the house, which is another whole tradition. So I definitely have fond memories of Thanksgiving. This year, yeah, it's going to be different. My son and his family are locked down in Northborough. My daughter is pregnant, and she's expecting her second around Thanksgiving. And while my son is like, we're in lockdown, I don't know how we're going to do this. My daughter's like, hey, come on down. So it's interesting to watch kind of the tale of two sides, and you want to be sensible. You don't want to drag something from family to family. And I hear all the stuff from, Charlie Baker or whatnot saying lockdown, but at the same time, is there a way? I think one of the challenges we're having is there a way to go visit, even if it's outside, okay, and just have some eggnog or whatever, so that we can spend a little time together and not be a super spreader event?
Yeah, I think it's a question that everybody's asking this year. For a lot of people are asking, I should say. It's hard because you got to get within your comfort zone and the comfort zone of the people, around you. And so, and look, and people have jobs, they have lives, they have to, some people have to go to work, so they get exposed to other people in doing so. So you got to get within that comfort zone. That's one of the reasons we did so in what I do, I'm able to quarantine. I'm able to pretty much, I can, talk to people via Zoom, I can talk to people via phone, but I don't necessarily have to meet people. I don't have to be in the public. Versus in what you do, you have to kind of be out there meeting people, showing houses. It's more challenging.
We did an open house last weekend, and what we did was we asked people to put booties on, which was primarily because if it was wet, we didn't want the wood floors getting. It's not so much a COVID thing. We definitely offered sanitizer, and we insisted on masks, and we kept track of the number of people in the house. And by doing it that way, we felt we were able to show the building without having a lot of exposure of different people. That said, we did have some sound bites. We don't want to have so many people here that Charlie Baker's going to come out. And people got it. I think people were all very nice. If you had, if we approached 10 people in the building, it's a reasonable size house, but we would cut it off at that point and say, no, I'm sorry, you're going to have to wait until someone comes out. And everybody to a person was fine with that.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it's going to be like when it's 30 below, but last weekend it was fine, and people played in the sandbox nicely, and I think everyone at this point is understanding.
You know what? It may be a matter, if it's this winter time, it may be a matter of fire pits in the driveway, and keeping people warm while they're waiting to go in, or whatever really you need, or a space heater in the garage. I don't know. Whatever needs to be done. I think that hopefully people are sensitive to it. Nobody wants to get anybody sick, and nobody really wants to get sick either. So it's a weird time, but bringing it back to Thanksgiving, it's also a time to you want to give thanks. You want to look at the how fortunate we are, even in a time like this where it's scary for a lot of folks. It's scary for everybody, and a lot of people are feeling the impact. It's a matter of perspective. Where are we on the scale? disastrous compared to how fortunate we are. We're blessed. And now is a time, Thanksgiving is a time of reflection for that. So I think everybody wants to do it, but they want to do it safely. And put your best foot forward trying to do that. We ordered, you're going to laugh when I tell you this. I went out 2 weeks ago because the store, so we're picking up at the supermarkets now. We're going and ordering online, and they're putting it in the back of the car. We're not going into the stores anymore at this point. But 2 weeks ago, I was going to the store, and I do the shopping because my wife is high risk. And so, I went in there and I bought all my Thanksgiving dry goods supplies. So stuffing and, cranberry sauce. And we've got this container down the basement filled with Thanksgiving stuff. But of course, none of it was on sale. So I had to find all this stuff around there. Nothing was at the end caps and anything. But I did it all. And so it was just all this early prep work. So it kind of interesting. But you do it. You make it happen.
And I think preparing for Thanksgiving is one of the fun things about Thanksgiving. I think it's time to bring this section of the show to a close, Brad. If someone wanted to reach you, how would they reach you?
The best way to reach me is by cell. My cell number is 978-375-5531. And email is bavergon, that's BAVERGON, @envisionbank.com. And how do they reach you, Gary?
The best way to reach me is to invite me over for Thanksgiving, and I'll be there probably right afternoon. Okay. Thanks for tuning in. We will be right back after the break.
You've been listening to All Things Real Estate on Full Service Radio, 830 WCRN.